Hey everyone, it's Daniel with VintageMagic.com. Welcome back to another video. All right, guys, so today's video is about the Time Walk, unlimited Time Walk card we got to appraise to see if the card is real or fake. And it was given to us from actually a pawn shop in Gainesville, Florida. And they want us to appraise that. And I've been asked this, by the way, many times before. If you guys are looking for appraisals for your cards, if you're looking to see if a card is real or fake, more than happy to help with that process. Just contact me on VintageMagic.com and click on the Contact Us tab, and I can go through that process. There is a fee for it, so it's not free. It does start out about $25 a card. Now, if you do have multiple cards, and depending on the value, I can work out a deal, but the starting cost is going to be $25. You know, there's a setup time. There's time for me to process everything, and I usually just do a video also in most cases, so that takes time too. All right, so let's go into it. This particular card is the real card where I pulled out of our collection. And a real card, you'll notice, has the coloring is so obvious. It's rich. A couple of things to look for is for Unlimited is that there's this gray text that's kind of hard to tell in the camera, but you can tell when you look at the card. It kind of has like a shadowing effect. Whereas Revise, for example, does not. So you'll notice that very clearly. Also, you'll notice that the print quality is very strong. It's sharp, but it's not like a bright blue. And it's not like a bright blue as in the fake I'll show you here, which we got from the pawn shop. And it's pretty obvious. And it's not as blurry. It's not blurry at all. In fact, the original cards are very crisp. They're sharp enough where there's no blurriness. So that's a huge sign. All right, so let's take a look at the fake and power of magic. Okay, there it is. There's the fake. Holy Mother of God. Now, no, I'm not making fun of the pawn shop. I'm just explaining to you guys the situation here. This guy received this card from a guy who wanted to do some collateral on their pawn shop. And the guy got, I believe, about $100 cash advance. And that happens with pawn shops to take items for sale as collateral until they pay it back. If they can't pay it back, they just lose the item. But the pawn shop, wanted to get their money back, but they saw online that these cards were going for about $1,000 or so. And that is true. If the card is in a specific condition and also it's real, they go for about $1,000, like this piece right here. In fact, this piece right here would probably go for more than that. But in the case of the fake card, let's take a look at it. You guys can obviously tell it's very much a photocopy. Extremely obvious for those who know magic. Take a good look. One of the things I noticed about this fake is that it actually feels the back. Well, the back also is they're using a new magic card back relatively. And that's something I did notice. You'll notice the coloring difference immediately with the new cards. You notice how the one on the right, the fake one, is a little bit shinier and like a lighter color. Whereas the old vintage ones tend to be the original darker brown, especially on the kind of the oval part of it, right? You can tell the difference. See if I can shine it on the light a little bit. Yeah, that's the fake. This is the original. See how it's darker brown? That's a big difference. Even the print quality, too, I can just tell this is a newer Magic card because of that. See, that's the thing is a lot of these people that do the fakes, they're taking newer Magic cards and they're just printing out the old cards and assuming that people will get away with it. And I haven't really seen people that I haven't seen too many fakes where people have figured out, hey, I should probably take like an older vintage card like a Legends, Antiquities, Common, whatever, and then basically then try to reback it. I don't think they're pretty smart. That's not something they've done. So that would actually be more difficult from a back standpoint. Let's take a look at the bend test with my camera. Okay, so the bend test is this, and it should go back pretty easily. You notice something very carefully. It kind of has a little warping already. It's probably like a Epson photo paper, and what happens is you'll notice that it just curls and stays that way, and it'll probably stay that way for a while, honestly, unless you push it back. Also, the feel of the card, the real one just feels a little bit more matte. This one feels a little more glossy in the front, especially. I did the light test. This was the most intriguing part of this card, this test, is that I can't do the test while I'm with you guys talking on the camera, but what happened was when you do the light test, you use a flashlight and through the card, and then you make sure the room's dark and lift up the card slightly. You'll see a rosette pattern that's consistent with all Magic cards. Now, with the fake one, it actually, the light wasn't like obvious in the sense that it was, there was still a pattern, but it wasn't the same pattern. And it was very slight because the light did go through, whereas some of fakes, the light goes through too quickly or it doesn't go through at all, right? So it was hard to tell, but that was something that it wasn't like a definitive test, but I could tell through experience and comparing through different Magic cards. It was definitely a fake, but it wasn't the best test. The other thing to notice is that the time walk, the print, yeah, you'll notice that it's just blurry. Look at this carefully. I'll put the real time walk together. There you go. Do you see that? Okay, do you see that? I'll focus it. See how time walk, the one at the bottom, it's nice and crisp, and then this top one, it's blurry. It's blurry even on the camera. So in Magic cards, one of the printing, even though it's been vintage and old stuff, there was never really any blurry cards. That wasn't a misprint category of cards. I haven't seen much. There has been cards like called black beta, where dark beta, where they're basically darker backs on the beta, and the print is even darker. But I haven't seen much for Unlimited at all. All right, so and then another test I did was the water test and all that stuff. Put a little water and it wipes off. That worked pretty well because I think this is like a more of a slightly glossy Epson printer. But I did notice that over time, if I left that water there, it may probably soak through. Whereas the original Magic cards, they're like poker deck cards where they're meant to have some a little bit of moisture, and they're able to wipe off pretty easily without any residue. All right, so guys, this is an unfortunate situation. Again, I do these appraisals for clients quite a bit, and it's kind of sad to see something when it's fake. I like to share it with you guys so you guys know what to observe. Sorry, the dogs. Lulu is drinking some water. And yeah, it's just one of those things that I just, it sucks because you want the hobby to be, just full of, honest people, but they're not. Other thing I noticed also is thickness wise, it's decent in the thickness, but I did notice like if you look at a loop, like a 10 times loop, see how there's like the edge. This edge was almost purposely worn a little bit. So then when you look at the loop, so it's kind of like right there. It's almost like, you see that residue on the top? It's almost like they try to glue it and then dirty it up a little bit. So, it kind of hides the effect. But almost as if, how like when you put water and glue together or some type of glue and you seal it, what happens is it actually causes some moisture on the very top. So it's almost like it's not a very good glue job, in my opinion, because it wouldn't, if you did a really good glue job, I've seen better fakes on the corners and edges than I have with this one. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, if I was to rate fakes, I probably would say that this would probably be in the category of 10 is the best, 1 is the worst. I probably give this a good old 4. The reason why I'm not doing it much lower is because it actually, in a way, the feel of the card and the sizing of the card, when you measure it up, it does measure up fine because they're using a real magic back. A newer magic card, but a real magic back. So I also think that for, again, inexperienced shops who do not really see a lot of older vintage cards, which is very scary because there's a lot of LGS stores out there, which I've gotten in contact with over the years, and they've asked me to look at cards, and they don't know what these cards should look like. That is very scary because, even though this is a $1,000 card, there's plenty of like $30, $100 cards out there, right? That could essentially be fake and they've purchased. So I would just be very careful. If you guys ever have a question, guys, again, just find me at vintagemagic.com. I'm always here to help. Go to contact us and I think you can ask a question about service. I used to do these for free, these type of appraisals, but over the years, obviously we're a business and we don't have a lot of time to do just appraisals, so we do have a small charge for them. But again, if you have a lot of different cards that are fake, I'm not going to charge you a ridiculous amount of money. It's more about just an initial charge, and there's a cap usually. But again, if you guys have like thousands of fakes, and they're obviously fakes, I'll just tell you, well, we can make a video on it. But in terms of like actual appraisal of stuff you bought, I can't, spend time for thousands and thousands of cards without a decent fee because it'll take, several hours of time. I had a client once bring me almost 1,000+ cards, and it took, 2 days, honestly, two 8-hour days going through the cards, going through every test, and he wanted, just the whole gamut of records. So it took a long time. So that kind of service does take more of a cost. All right, guys, one more zoom in on this Time Walk Unlimited fake card. Guys, thanks again for watching. Hope you guys have a great day and a good week. Watch out for those fake cards. They are out there. Take care.